Hello, today I thought I'd bring you into my studio. It's a horrible day outside, so there's no allotment or anything like that going on. So I thought I would show you what I get up to when the weather's not so good. I'm a mosaic artist. I started doing mosaics about 20 years ago. I've been doing it properly for about 10 years now, and I sell my work on online on Etsy and on a British site called New Monday. And I just wondered if any of you might be interested to know how to make a mosaic. A lot of people say to me, oh, I would love to try that, but I don't know where to start. So I just thought I would give you a little insight into how I do it. It's very simple. Anybody can make a mosaic. If you're the crafty type, you can get a great deal of pleasure out of it. So the first thing that you are going to want is something to make your mosaic on, something like this. You can use anything. You could use a piece of wood, you can use a piece of flat stone, you can use anything at all. I've found over the years that this stuff is the best stuff to use if you want to hang it outside. If you're not bothered about that, then wood is fine actually. This is cement board. It's called Hardy Backer. So that's one I did recently. It's a house on a lake with all the reflections. I don't know whether you can make it out. So on the back, that's it all painted with exterior paint, with the little eyelets and the hooks. And so you can hang that outside. It needs to be in a sheltered spot. If it's going to get very cold, very frosty, or very wet, then I would advise you to pick a different spot really. So you've got your board. I'll show you some tiles after. To stick your tiles, I just use usually a PVA glue. This one just says adhesive sealer primer. I bought that one from B&Q, and it was B&Q PVA I used to use, but I don't know whether they stopped doing it. Just a basic white glue. The main thing that you want with it is so that it becomes invisible once it's dried off, because you're always going to get little bits that seep up between your tiles. So that's perfect. It works absolutely fine. The other thing you need, the grout. It's nasty stuff. Once you've finished your mosaic, you need to grout it. Grouting is my least favourite part of it. I really don't like doing the grouting at all, but it has to be done, so there you have it. The other thing that you need is some little tools. That's a pair of tile nippers. You get them from any DIY shop, and that's just what a tiler would use. So it's just basically two little sharp wheels, and you just nip all your tiles into the shape that you want. Dead easy. Pair of tweezers, just so you can pick up the tiny pieces. I'll show you my tiles now. So this is a little example of the kind of tiles that you can use for mosaicing. Indeed, it doesn't even have to be tiles, it could be anything. So standard, just glass tiles. Get these from, I think I probably got these from B&Q and on the big mesh sheet. You can get all kinds of colours. If you just keep your eyes open, whenever you're at the DIY shop for a nice tile, for example, I picked up those one time. I love the texture on them. They're still on the sheet. They're very thick, mind. They're another good example of what you can pick up in the DIY shop. Tiles like that I bought from a specialist mosaic supplier online. You can get them on Amazon, or Mosaic Heaven, I think is one of the shops that I use. Also tiny little ones like these. Get these from a mosaic tile supplier. All colours, they're lovely. And all of these you cut to the size that you want with your little tile nippers. One of the things that I use more than anything else is stained glass. So there's a box of little pieces that I've cut up, but they come in big sheets about this size that you order. So that's an example of them half used up. Very versatile, I find, to use that. But you can use anything. This is bits of slate. I think these were old patio tiles that a cousin of mine was getting done, and they just give me a few tiles. I've had these for years. just keep splitting them and using them, they can give a good effect. Pebbles, I put them in a few of my mosaics, like a pebble beach or something like that, you know. This is a tub of driftwood that we picked up from our local beach. They can look really effective. I think with mosaics you're wanting to look at texture and colour and different depths as well. It doesn't need to be totally flat, it can be all up in one part and low in the other. It all gives a good effect. Got a box of shells there, they look good as well if you're doing like a seaside scene or something like that. So that's just a little example of the kind of tiles you can use to make a mosaic, but the sky's the limit. Your imagination is the only thing that limits you. You can use what you like, and I've used all manner of things. So I would suggest the first thing that you do is decide what kind of design you want. But today I'm doing a cockerel, so I'll show you what I've done. I've just basically got this cockerel. He's actually quite small. This is going to be quite small and fiddly compared with what I normally do. So we'll see how it goes. I would rather it was bigger, but I've drawn it and it's worked quite nicely. So I don't want to do it again and fail. So that's my cockerel. He's standing on a post and the sun is rising and he's heralding the dawn with his cock-a-doodle doing. Well, I've started. You can see my very first thing. I like to always get the eyeball in first. Teeny. Can't even pick it up with the tweezers. I've had to trim that down from a little black tile. I don't know whether you can see it, it's so small. I'll get that on first, and then I'm going to start on this comb. So I've got all my red stained glass here, which I just trimmed to match the size. If you can find a piece that's already matching in shape, even approximately, use that, because it's always best to use what you've got. Anyway, we'll get that stuck on and start with the comb. This glue's probably a bit thick. It's the first time I've used it today. There we go. Here you go, folks. First bit on. So I think that's looking all right. Another spike or two on there. It's really pretty much like a jigsaw puzzle. You're trimming pieces down to get them to fit to your desired shape. One thing I might add is you might want to wear a pair of safety glasses when you're doing this, because the glass does fly. I have never been unlucky enough to get a bit in the eye, but it could easily happen. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see that. I've managed to do the comb and start the eye. And next I'm going to try and cut some pieces for this beautiful tail here. It'll have to be a few pieces because that's a very big curve and I'm not going to get that with a stained glass. That's my mosaic finished now. The next thing I'm going to do is grout it. So I will mix my grout now and we'll see how we get along. The grout has been left for 5 minutes or so and I'm giving it another stir, and that's lovely now. That's just kind of the right consistency that I like. So now I'm going to get on and grout the picture, which is messy and awful. Once you've got your mosaic grouted, as you can see, it's left in a right mess. So you want to use a damp cloth, not too wet, otherwise you just wash all the grout out again, but a wrung out cloth like that and start to wipe it down. But as you see there, it's coming off quite nicely. And there we are, that's the finished mosaic. I hope this video has inspired you to maybe have a try. You don't have to make anything complicated, a door number or something like that. It's a great way to start. A garden tabletop or some coasters. All nice things, nice simple things. Simple design is the best way to start. I work under the name of Dear Heart Mosaics. If you want to check out my shops, I am on Etsy and also on a British website called New Monday. We will put the links below, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.